Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing God of War Ghost of Sparta on God difficulty, and this is my Pain Plus guide and walkthrough. We're currently on installment the 7th, and we've got some dogs to deal with. If you don't want to deal with them, just run past them. Jumping at them and throwing them is pretty risky because the other ones can bite you. The amount of iframes you have from the ground-based Hyperion charge, where you run up to an enemy and you swing him around, you have so many iframes that it's almost silly not to take advantage of that move, because you get a lot done, you deal good damage, and it's safe too. So this video, let's see here. I think that I mentioned the upcoming fight is one of my favorites in the game, and it's one of, I like it a lot, but it is kind of a simple fight. These games really are pretty basic and simple when you think about it, but the challenge definitely ramps up when you do a no upgrade run, or in this case, taking it to the next level. These guys are pretty much helpless on here. So what exactly is so good about this fight that it's one of my favorites in the game? I honestly, I'm going to kind of retract what I said. It's not one of my favorites. It's just an enjoyable fight with good music, and I just like the environment too. So, and I just like how you enter this area too, with all of this ledge sidling and things like that. It would be nice if you can go a little bit faster, but you can't have everything. So what is this fight coming up? I think it's, well, I know it's 2 Gorgons and I think 3 Satyrs. So it's not very many enemies, and the Gorgons, whenever there's Gorgons in a fight, it's really fun. Oh, and these ones don't seem to have much life either. 3 punches on the ground, and then he's finished. This is fun too. There's no end to the fun of doing that, and just throwing guys around. It's amazing what you can get away with too with that Hyperion charge. The Hyperion charge makes this game so fun. I mean, it is kind of limited, and I know it might get old, so I try not to always do it, but it's so safe and helpful that, I just like to do it. I like to take advantage of it, actually. I mean, when you think of the depth of the combat from the first game that Ready at Dawn made, Chains of Olympus, to this one, it's like 3 times the depth of combat. I mean, I don't know if it's like that, but it's very much a step up. And I just wish Kratos would move a little bit faster. There's been some fights. There's going to be one fight with that I'm making a little bit more difficult for myself by not shattering some ice enemies, some sentries that are guarding this area that we need to get to. And I just think I kept saying to myself, why can't Kratos be a little bit faster? I mean, why is he so fucking slow? Why can't he just take the shit out of his pants and just hurry up and get out, go a little bit faster, because he can't keep up with these enemies. So I'd like to do a bunch of fancy stuff and things like that, but I'm always trying to do it no damage, and I will be doing it no damage. It's not a full no damage guide though, remember that. The only ones that I've seen that are full no damage runs are Taz11 and Shinobi. Great players, and it's kind of debatable who is better among who, about Taz or Shinobi. I personally, I was a Shinobi fan, and I still am, but I think that Taz 1 really has kind of matured in my mind like a fine wine, and I really enjoy watching his videos, because he always does something that surprises me. He always does different things, and what I don't want you to think is that before I do any of the fights, I'm like searching for help and how to do it and things like that. It's not that level of difficult. But what I like to do is I like to watch other people that are very good and whom I can learn from. I mean, is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so, honestly. This fight's kind of shitty too because the accidental returns of projectiles and things like that. I'm really a stickler though when I think about it, because I'm not saying anything bad about Tabs because I really like him and I would never disparage his content, but he does run past some enemies, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. But I'm just a stickler. I have to do every fight. I have to kill every enemy, or I just don't feel that I've completely done the game. So it's I just can't. I can't skip things. I just can't. If it came down to like having to skip the Gerons, no, fuck that. I'll just scrap the guide. That's ridiculous. To have to run past a difficult fight like that because you can't skip it. Hell no. The guide would be deleted so fast it's not even funny. Oh, but we are gonna get some new tools up here actually. And I don't know what is wrong with the QuickTime events when your younger self attacks you in the Temple of Ares over here, but it is really, really, I don't know if it's supposed to be that way either, but the QuickTime events, they come at you at such a rapid speed that maybe you're meant to fail them. I don't know. I've never played the PSP games. I've been getting some comments of people saying like they're playing on their phones and they're playing on not recently, but like, and it's not because of they've seen this walkthrough, because at this point in time this walkthrough is private and no one's seen it. But people are like, they're playing on the PSP and they're playing on their Android phones and things like that, and then they're also telling me like I have it so good because I'm playing it on the PS3. Try playing it on an emulator, which I don't even know what that is, and then try playing it on your phone. Well, try playing on your phone. A phone is not meant to play games like that. Like this, maybe simple games like Solitaire, but you can't play this type of game on a phone. That's just strange, people saying that. I also feel so good for getting rid of my PlayStation 4. This console right now, this is the only one I have. It's the only one I want. It wasn't even a matter of money. It's just a matter of disgust. I cannot stand the PlayStation 4. I can't stand the dearth of games that are on there. I'm tired of having to have a game at 30 frames per second. I was watching some footage of The Last of Us 2, and it's in 30, and it's not even that too. It's because that camera in there, I hate it. I just absolutely hate it. But see how fucking fast these QuickTime events are? I truly think you're meant to fail them. But yeah, I can't play a game with a floaty camera in 30 frames per second. I don't care how good it looks, I'll just play something else. I'll play this. Like, I don't even know how good I have it right now. Like, the guy was telling me, you don't know how good I have it? I do know how good I have it, because if I wasn't doing this right now, this would be, like, when I finish this, I will wish that I would keep playing this game forever, because I love this game. And I'm I feel blessed right now to be able to play it, and be able to have the skills to do this challenge run. And I will say something about the Gerons, because the Gerons are they're the most difficult enemy in this game, because they have the most HP. They kill you the easiest, the fastest. I have the Gerons done. I have it on a file, but I don't have the fight where I was trying to keep a harpy around. But what I found was that I can't stand one or two harpies just in the environment messing me up on the Geron. So we're gonna talk about this in depth. I'm gonna remember to thumbnail or tack this message somehow so I can remember it later. But the whole thing about the harpies, if I'm going to be fighting the Gerons, I just want to fight the Gerons. I don't want to fight Harpies and have them mess me up. Like, hit me and then I roll into one of the Gerons attacks. So what you're going to see, because I'm really satisfied with the content that I have, and I don't think I'm going to do it over, is, oh, this fight took me a little while. This fight is pretty particular. Now, you can do this to him every time. And I did see Taz have some really easy times getting this guy over here, but this guy is really difficult to grab. And since this is a Blades only run, you know, where you have to use the Arms of Sparta, we'll use it. But other than that, if you can get it done with the Blades, you have to get it done with the Blades. And I think earlier in the video I mentioned that I was using the Blades of Exile. I don't know what they're called in this game. I think they're just called the Blades of Athena. They changed the name every game, so it's difficult to remember what it is. But once you kill those two up there, there's two spawners down here. These ones. And once you kill one or two of them, we'll see in short order, you'll have two more spawners up there. And it's very difficult to not get hit, even when you're spamming circle. So grab whoring is helpful to a point. But yeah, you can still find yourself getting hit. So I'm going to stick close to the wall over here and try to get one of the spawners up here. This fight was actually kind of ridiculous. And I truly do think that there's a couple fights in this game that are harder than the Gerons. You know? Actually, is that a fair thing to say? Because the Gerons are kind of a separate entity. I'm talking about just like these guys, when there's so many of them, not taking damage. Sometimes I really start sweating about these fights because taking damage is so easy to do. And here, he's going to be particular, isn't he? You can grab him. You can. It's just that it doesn't work out for me. So, he's such a little bastard. Oh, but what I was saying about it, yeah, the harpy method. I wouldn't call it a trick, but the harpy method on the Gerons, that's actually pretty good if you want to. I mean, I found that my acumen or my skill was really wanting on the Gerons. So what it came down to was simply a matter of just practicing them, and I got really good at them, and you can too. And I'll show you exactly how to do it too. But yes, we are dealing with a Kratos that is just, he's slow. I don't know what it is, but it needs a turbo mode, and I don't know how I didn't get damaged over here. This is just ludicrous, but I was smiling the whole time. Here we go, you pig fuckers. Are these the Sentinels? No. These are just, they could be, I don't know. I mean, I know they're archers, obviously, but I don't, they've got that type of helmet that the sentries use. And I don't think we've even seen a sentry, but we will in short order after we deal with the Dredge of Boreas Part 2 of 2. I love the Dredges. They're so fun to fight. They really are. Now, in this part over here, you do have to use the Arms of Sparta. Yeah, the Dredge. Small type of area on him too. Like the environment, we're gonna fight the Dredge on a narrow bridge, but I found that it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's enough room, and it's really a fair enemy when you think about it. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna fight him right over here. Now, instead of him being like right next to us at the beginning of the fight, he's going to be on the other side of the bridge. I remember doing this actually. The power went out, and I was very upset. You know, just imagine if you were doing the Gerons or something, and the power went off. That would be too bad. And you got a really good piece of footage. Here we go. Now, again, with this enemy, you have enough time in between his attacks which are mainly two. He's got two melee attacks where he slams his two arms down that you just need to roll through. And if you do certain things, he will do a charge that is actually not that difficult to evade. It's just a little tricky because what happens is there's a little delay in how you have to roll. So I think we'll see it over here. It does happen after you do this first quick time event. So watch as this happens over here. There's going to be a slight delay. So if you're having problems, delay. Because he kind of moves his head, and then you just have to do that delay that I mentioned, the aforementioned delay. But over here, he should be, stopping to do his lackeys over here. And I mean, they're really not lackeys when you think about it. They're just pieces of garbage that are next to him, pretty much. But if you jump at them and do an aerial Hyperion charge, grab them and throw them, it's very risky. So what I mentioned before about the ground-based Hyperion charge and swinging them around, it's so safe and it's so good. Now, how much damage does it deal? I don't know how much it deals. The minute we start putting numbers on things and things like that, it's going to turn into Dark Souls, and I like and I loathe Dark Souls. But I'm not sure what happened over here. He made me do this twice, so fucking piece of dog shit making me do it twice. Okay, and now we have a little sidling to do. Unnecessary sidling, if you ask me. And then there's going to be a couple of archers, and then we're going to be on the aforementioned fight with 6 hoplite sentries. And if you remember from before, when I was mistaking the archers for sentries, these ones are just going to be guardians of some area. And we're going to be getting a new magic. It's a testing area to do magic, and it's the third and final magic we'll get. We never use magic, of course, but it's something about a horn. It's so pathetic. I don't even care about it. It's just horrible. At the base level, and I don't even want to use it. Shrine of Boreas, okay. Anyway, come on up here, and we'll do this fight, and then after that, we do have some Chaos Wraiths to deal with. But first, if you want to make this fight half easier, you'll smash those 3 soldiers that are in ice there, and then do the horn. So, smash them, and then we'll wind our horn. I got to thinking of it, though. I don't want to wind my horn. Fuck that. I am not winding my fucking horn. You see how many enemies there are over here? Atlantis Sentinels. They're guarding the next area, and because I'm a masochist, I decided to fight 6 of these guys rather than 3. And I've got to tell you, this fight's harder than the Gerons. I've done both. This fight is harder than the Gerons. Believe that? There's also a couple of fights with the Lords, the Triton Lords, the Lord Jesuses, as I've called them a couple of times in this walkthrough. That's harder than the Gerons too. And you know what is you know what's a fair thing? The Gerons. You know why? Because think about this. Think about the fight near the end of the game with the armored Cyclopses and the Wraiths. I forgot how to pronounce it. Let's just call them Wraiths. Karis, I don't really know. It's a weird pronunciation. But that fight with the Cyclopses and the Wraiths at the same fucking time, pretty much. That's an anti-gamer fight, and it's not fair, because the Wraiths force you to block, and the Cyclops, at least, one move you can block, but it's basically an enemy where you have to dodge. One enemy you have to do one thing on the other enemy. So, I'm not kidding. The Gerons, as hard as it is, and it's not that hard. I overplayed how much it was. Based on inexperience, and I apologize. I ask your forgiveness. At least it's fair. At least it's not anti-gamer, you know. The K-res rates, I'm pretty much certain that's a literal pronunciation of these guys. K-res wraiths. They're coming up in a moment. And dear Jesus, if you had to watch this cutscene every time before you did this fight, there's no way I would try to do this fight no damage, but you don't have to watch this cutscene. It's a perfect checkpoint. And I did do the fight no damage because it's a good checkpoint. And because I respect this enemy. Although it's, at times the field of view is just going to rob you of the greatness that you're trying to achieve while you play this game, you know? And it's real sad about that too, because on a daily basis, this game will show you its drawbacks. You know, it'll show you a lot of things, but when it comes to this enemy, your field of view is so important because it comes down to literally being able to see the enemy. I mean, you're going to be locked in place a lot of times, and it's basically just luck if I'll survive getting out of corners. Now, if you parry them, they can't drive you back. But I can't always get a parry. You know, I can't always stand my ground on this enemy, because you can stand your ground, but only to a point, really. I mean, really, because if the other two are causing hijinks, you know, you might have to, you know, do something else than what you're wanting to do. And that's pretty much the epitome of what this fight comes down to with the Cyclops. Because this fight with 3 of them is not really bad. To be honest, 2 or more, and it's basically, you know, just a counting game until you get 1 of them. And it's just awfully important to stay down here, because do you see the location right by the blue barrier on the bottom? Well, you can't see it now, can you? We can't pan out. We can't. But if we could, I could show you and you already saw it. You'll see it in a moment. The blue barrier at the bottom and the blue barrier at the top left. You don't ever want to get pushed up there, but sometimes you cannot help it. These enemies will push you whether they will. And it's kind of sad about that, don't you think? But they do taunt a lot, which makes up for the all of the times that you're trying to decide what you want to do, having an opening just to be able to do something. But down here by this blue barrier, you can see everything that you need to see on this fight. Move away from it and you'll decrease your vision and have a poor field of view, and then it'll be a constant struggle to get back to the blue barrier down here. And what you definitely want to do whenever you fight this enemy, I'm telling you, stick close to the one that you know is almost dead. Because when you drop it, you don't want to have to cross too much no man's land to get over to it and circle it. See, that was a little bit too much no man's land, but sometimes you have to take what you can get. Why is it no man's land? Because that enemy can do a move that will stop you dead in your tracks and cause you damage, and cause you to get faltered, and it will cause precious time to escape you while you're trying to go over there. The other one will get up, recover a little bit of damage, and do a move that requires you to parry it. And then who knows what can happen from there. From there, it's anybody's guess, pretty much, what can happen. And I really, really disagree with the fact that that blade attack that they do, or is it a blade? I guess it's not a blade. I'm not sure what it is, but it's that. You know that? The move they constantly do. I don't know why, if you're jumping over that and blocking, since you have an air block in this game, why the fuck does that damage me if I'm in the air? It's a ground-based move. You know? I would accept that if when you were jumping over other things in this game while blocking, you didn't take hits. But we've already seen exampled the automaton, and when he does his stomp, which is a ground-based attack, if you jump over it and block, you don't take damage in the air. It's ludicrous. So maybe this enemy has some sort of a speciality with, you know, it's being ethereal, having magical powers, but that shouldn't matter in the slightest because these are game mechanics I'm talking about, and consistency in game mechanics. Because it makes the fight with the armored Cyclops a bitch when you can't be blocking in the air with these hags, you know, doing their thing, what they will. And of course, this didn't have to just be a completed fight. Oh no, not for Buck fucking Benedict. It had to be no damage and perfect, because he strives for perfection. If you didn't know, he's got an ego, and it's a huge detriment to his character sometimes. Causes them to delete guides. It causes them to do all sorts of different... Why am I talking about me like that? Am I not Buck Benedict? Pope Benedict? Big Benediction? Bucker fucker? Here we go. We all done? Okay, we just have one left. This is the only time when you fight 3 of them and there's no additional spawners afterwards. So once it's just one of them, you know, just do whatever you want to. I think I might do some moves that'll drop it quick, and I did. Perfect. Now, do you know why that was perfect? Because I'm perfect. Take care.